Hello friends, once again I welcome all of you to my YouTube channel Professor Iqbal Tajwale. In this episode of lecture, we will discuss one of the famous essays of Robert Lynd, which is Forgetting. Now apart from this itself, he talks about the power, memory power. He talks about the bad memory power of the politicians or statesmen. Okay, so he says in a general meeting, particularly in a cabinet meeting, what the politicians they had spoken or statesmen they had spoken in the previous meeting, they forget that and they start blaming each other. So this shows that the politicians or the statesmen they don't have good memory power, and that is what they say their memory power is an example of the worst memory power. And on the other hand, in compared to the adult youngsters or young people, they have bad memory power. So according to them, their memory is also not good. Now when he goes forward and talks about the best example of having good memory power, he talks about poets, philosophers and authors. Okay, these people, these academicians, they have good memory power because they combine their imagination, they give emotions to the lines and feelings, and thus they make creative out of it. Thus they make creative out of it. Even the example is given by Robert Lynd that what about Socrates and St. Coleridge? Would they have forgotten to post a letter? What kind of memory they would have possessed? Okay, in this matter, what kind of memory they would have possessed? This was an approach of Robert Lynd to see the philosopher like Socrates and the poet like St. Coleridge. And when we go ahead reading this Forgetting as an essay, we will come to know that there is a wonderful example given by Robert Lynd where he talks about that a person can forget even the precious thing which is very closer to him, rather than think a precious part of his life, I would say here. And he says once a father has taken his baby for a walk in the streets. Okay, he has taken a baby in the perambulator for a walk in the streets, and for his surprise that was a sunny day and he felt like thirsty, and so he stops the perambulator there for some time and then he goes there for a glass of beer. And when he returns, he forgets about his baby and the perambulator, and the baby and the perambulator was there in front of the public house, and then he goes for a rest. Now this is something which is very important for us to remember. Can a person forget a baby? Is it practically possible for someone to forget baby also? And what kind of carefulness is this? How careless can be a father then? And after some time, to the same place, the wife comes. The wife of the same person comes there, and she was shopping there. And to her surprise, she found the baby there in the street and nobody was there around the baby. The baby was alone in the perambulator, and she was so terrified, amazed to see the baby alone, as the baby was with the husband. Okay, but the husband is not there. He is taking rest somewhere else. Now she plans to teach her husband a lesson. She drags the perambulator back and she keeps it somewhere else, and she is now waiting. She waits for husband to arrive. Now for her surprise, the husband even doesn't realize that he has forgotten such an important part of his life, such an important thing. When he comes back to the home and he behaves naturally as if nothing has happened, he forgets about the baby, he even forgets about the precious thing which he had with him. Then he asks, what have you prepared for the lunch? What is there for the lunch today? This shows that she did not have any attention about the stolen baby. He did not have any attention or care for the stolen baby, and she taught her husband a better lesson that he will never forget. This is something which we need to remember, that we can also forget things like this. So in his essay Forgetting, particularly Robert Lynd talks about different things which can happen from person. Okay, it is possible that a person can forget as simple as a thing like putting off the fan or putting off the light, but he can also forget as precious thing as a daughter or a son or a baby. So guys, this was an explanation from my side about the essay of Robert Lynd, Forgetting, okay, which is a very humorous and wonderful essay written by Robert Lynd. Talks about the nature and the effects of forgetfulness. Thank you very much everyone. Have a good day ahead.